Children of the Living Dead is a 2001 American film directed by Ramsey and stars Tom Savini, Marty Schiff, Damien Luvara, and Sam Nicotero. The plot follows a serial killer turned zombie seeking revenge on a small Pennsylvanian town as his grave is unknowingly disturbed. Now, just the sheer existence of this movie is actually pretty odd. Because back in 1998, John Russo released a 30-year anniversary version of Night of the Living Dead. I vaguely recall this happening. I've never seen it. It's a colorized version that he added scenes to, apparently, which I think is just adorable. I have no idea what they were. Now that I'm talking about it, I gotta see this thing. Maybe it's cool. It's not. It's not. I don't need to see it. Fuck it. Yeah. And if you aren't familiar with John Russo, he co-wrote Night of the Living Dead with George Romero. So that's his claim to fame, I guess, which is, hey, I mean, most of us have not done anything near that cool, so it's not ripping on the man at all. So Children of the Living Dead, was his shot at a cash grab sequel to, Night of the Living Dead. So basically, this is the legacy sequel of that film that you may not have known existed. I mean, I don't think I did. I don't remember this coming out in 2001 at all. Although I'll admit I wasn't super paying attention to horror that year. I don't think. So yeah, there are reasons for, if you didn't know this existed, there are reasons for that. And mostly, it's just fucking awful. It's just fucking awful. So, anyways, recently I reviewed The Dead Next Door from 1989, and I'm going to do a direct comparison right here, because that was, in my opinion, that was a master class of how to make a zombie film, with a Super 8 fucking camera, $125,000, and a shitload of, youthful passion and energy. Children of the Living Dead had a $500,000 budget, and what I assume to be the desire to, to make a decent zombie movie, at least good enough to overshadow the obvious cash grab factor. And on paper, I mean, this could have been pretty cool, really. I mean, it could have been like one of the forerunners of the zombie craze of the early 2000s. So, I missed the boat on that, and a kind of a big opportunity. You had Bill Hinsman here. Remember this guy from Night of the Living Dead? Well, back in '88, he actually put together a film called Flesh Eater, which was based around, that same character. It didn't really go anywhere, and I've to this day still never seen it, so I'll probably check it out. But I'm told it's like essentially, and I don't know if this is completely accurate or at all accurate, but I've been told that it's basically a reboot of Flesh Eater. So, I mean, I think this was kind of doomed from the start, really. Hinsman chose to handle the cinematography instead of playing, a zombie of any sort this time around. John Russo was on board as producer, and Tom Savini was stunt coordinator, and even had a really cool extended cameo. In fact, if this whole movie was just based around, him being this like action cop hero, it would have been much, much better. And him and Russo have actually both, over the years spoken out about their disappointment with this movie. Russo had actually written a script that got the interest of Joe Wolf as producer, which somehow turned into his daughter, Karen Lee Wolf, taking over, writing her own script. And let me tell you, man, it is a mess. I think likely she is the sole reason why this movie sucks as bad as it does. The scenes are just kind of stitched together, often jumping around to different, time periods in the story with little to no explanation. Often, I think it's probably fair to say no explanation. And also, there's almost a lack of anything resembling a main character. We do get some scattered around what you could be or what you could perceive as main characters, and they're just hardly interesting at all, if at all. Not very interesting. I mean, there's maybe one or two that approach that territory, but no. The acting is oddly passable, I would say, but the dialogue is completely awful. Like, it was, this is that kind of dialogue that's just clearly been written by someone who doesn't know how to write dialogue or scripts. The zombie character Abbott Hayes, he's the the boss zombie that I was talking about at the beginning. Isn't a terrible idea, I don't think. The idea of him being a serial killer as a human and now seems to have some kind of like supernatural abilities, maybe. I think, I'm not really sure. It's a campy idea, but I think not terrible. Adding to that campiness though is his stupid looking makeup that doesn't match the other zombies. He just looks like a bad Halloween mask. Where the other zombies, all of them have that the simple classic Romero look. Okay, now even after all of the negative things that I've said so far, there is one thing that could still kind of save this movie, and that would be great violence and gore. Look at Land of the Dead. Speaking of George Romero, there are some reasonably fun zombie battles, especially the first 10 minutes with the Savini stuff and all that. But it isn't enough to justify this thing's existence. So I'm giving Children of the Living Dead a 2 out of 10, which might be the lowest score I've ever given anything. And I've reviewed modern Blumhouse stuff. So if you're curious, about this, and I don't blame you, and I think you can watch it for free here on YouTube. You can also find it for probably under $1 in your local discount bin. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you at the multiplex.
Subscribe right now, please.